Sentiments on that exactly, yes. It keeps us under control of the whole situation from start to finish, and really that's the easiest way to track what's going on.
So I guess I'm a little bit confused. How do you control the subcontracting component of this?
Well, there would no longer be subcontracting. It'd be someone that's under contract with us currently.
We approve more than one.
What? Okay, well, go ahead, Councilor.
So if we have 3 now, okay, the whole idea is we have 3 so they don't have to subcontract out anymore, right? So now you got 3 towers. Then if we're gonna have 3 towers, then why don't we just make it equal? Each tower gets a job every day. You're just gonna keep the rotation. None of this because we're hiring this one and we're gonna hire these 2 just in case.
Chief, before you answer that, can I just give you my answer before, I mean, I'll let the chief, it may be different, I don't know. What I don't want to do is tax the police department with more headaches. That's my only concern. I mean, I think what we're trying to do is put it in their hands and give them the tools that they need to run the department effectively, efficiently. The model that we have in front of you guys is, to us, it doesn't matter whose name's on the door. The rates are controlled. I think that's what we've lacked in the past, our controlled rates. This gives us that control. You have approved vendors, we've done the due diligence, we've done the research.
I guess just I have one follow-up on that. Let's say the council approves one vendor. What do we do then? I mean, as far as...
I'm not sure. That's why we're hoping you approve more than one, because we know that everybody has they have a capacity.
Right.
You know, a lot of these companies, I think even Area's gone through a fair amount of change, whether they've partnered with Lions Towing, Boulevard and Trumbull. I don't know the history of their partners of who they've had here, but they've had a fair amount of different partners. This, again, gives us control. We hope that there's at least 2 considered, but honestly, based on the research for what we hope each of the 3 are able to do, we're really hopeful that you guys keep all 3 intact.
All right. Councilor, did you have something else?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The issue then, so we're going to give them now 3 towing companies, where for the last 20 years you've had 1. And he just said that we don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on you because you've got other things to do. So with 3 companies now, you're going to be tracking 3 companies rather than 1. So you're going to be maintaining the equality of those companies to work in our city. Are you going to use one main company for all the towing and using them as backup? Or is there going to be equality on what each of those companies get as far as equal jobs? Each one will get an equal call to do that. Or are we just looking for one company and we're going to control the other 2 in that manner? Or is everybody going to get equal treatment on call-ins?
Well, equal treatment's viewed
So that means go down the list, area towing just got that wreck over there, now we'll give J&M this wreck over here. Is it going to be that way, or is it going to be one main company?
To our department, we believe that's a logistical nightmare, tracking 3 companies.
So you don't need 3 companies, you need 1.
Well, what we're
One
trying to
good
do
company.
is, maintain control over the entire system so that we can track what's happening. Many of the problems we've had have been that pricing. And again, when we start subcontracting someone who is not under our control, we lose control of what's happening. So logistically, again, if we had 3 and they were all jumping all over, we have a nightmare. So we intend to have 1 primary tower that handles the vast majority of our calls. When heavy duty comes up, we can contact another company, and when overflow appears, then we can contact any one of the 3 and handle it in that manner. So again, logistics are a concern. I wish I had my traffic partner in here who has to deal with the tracking of these vehicles. He would tell you that, yeah, it does complicate some things. However, maintaining control by having these vendors under contract also allows us to control what's happening. So that works for us as we view in the best manner.
But just to be clear, Mr. Chairman, I just want to add, I mean, I feel like I sound like I'm kind of a broken record. We have more than 1 tower already. We just don't have control over it. We don't know if that is 2 towers or 10 towers because we don't have, the current contract doesn't have any provisions of reporting back to the police department for subcontracting. It just allows it to occur, and it has been occurring.
Do we know how often it does occur under the contract?
I would defer to the chief, I don't have that answer.
I mean, obviously in our winter, when we have our heavy months, we are calling other tow companies. When you have a major event, semis are involved, heavy duty towing, we've subcontracted out. But to give you a specific number, I know I don't have those numbers.
So in just asking, as the administrator of this city, you agree with everyone on that list? that
I
were
agree
brought.
that they all should play a role in the process. I don't know that I know enough about the process that I would agree with everything the chief says, but I trust that his ability to make those decisions are there, and I trust that that process will take place effectively.
You've sat where I've sat for a long time.
Correct.
So you're basically telling me, if you're bringing something to this council, you're pretty much sure that you think this is what's right to be brought to this council.
Having the tools in the toolbox available doesn't hurt the city of Taylor, if that makes sense. Again, I can't tell you that they're all going to be used to the same level. I can't tell you that they're all going to be used every day, or every week, or every month, or even once a year it may be. But based on the capabilities, there's a value that they all could bring to the table.
I understand what you're saying. It's no different than last year, the Fiore cement contract. We ended up with 3. We ended up using 1. One gets $800,000 worth of work, and the other 2 get nothing.
And this very well could be the same, Councilman.
See, I don't like that.
Well,
Because if we're gonna have 3, if we're gonna put three businesses online to work for us, you would think that you're gonna give each of those businesses a chance to earn something from this city because they bid for it and they're on that list. So in other words, we should go to 1 and just make the towing companies report to us and keep track of when they use other companies. That's it.
but if you do that, then you don't have any control of who they use. And again, we're talking about police tows. The chain of custody, as you know, being a retired police officer, is extremely important, and who maintains that chain of custody is really important to us. So I think that model of having them report to us is reactive instead of proactive. I think the model we have in front of you is the proactive model that we're asking this city council to consider.
What I'm understanding is, and I went on a tour of all 3 of those, Alex and I and Angela, what I'm understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that area towing would be the one you would call when there's an accident. If you have a semi overturned, if you have something that is large, then maybe J&M, because they have the large equipment, which we all saw, the large equipment he has. Was it the auctions that you were talking about, or Martin's? So that each one of them has something that could benefit the police department. They wouldn't be calling all of them. J&M does more of the heavy, doesn't he? I think that's what one of the questions was I asked. Is J&M does do other cities? But he just does regular towing too? So he has the capability. So he could be a call if we're over, in accidents or whatever, we need to call somebody, we don't have, it could be J&M. So each one has their little niches that would benefit us, is that what I'm understanding?
Well, certainly that's the tool in the toolbox concept that we're talking about, but having the ability for overflow is important as well. I think the number of tows that we do annually is 23 to 2,500, Chief?
Correct, yeah.
That's a lot of tows for one company. I mean, that's a lot for one organization to take on. We're 24 square miles. There are days or times of the year that towing becomes I mean, it's busy. There's when it's icy or bad weather. There are conditions that apply that, we would need more than one readily available. And back to the concrete, although we bring all of that forward for, city council to approve, this would be different because I think there would be the cases that we use each of the 3. I don't think it would be one would get all of it, the other 2 would get nothing. But I do think one would get more, or the vast majority, and the other 2 would see smaller numbers. And I just don't want to mislead you guys and tell you something different, but I think that that's factual, given the discussion we've had with the police chief.
And if we decide to go with 3, those one does all, those other 2 are going to know, they might not be called more, because they might be given it, just for example, they might be calling area. And if I'm from J&M, I know they're going to call area first before they get to me, so they're going to know that.
We'll absolutely have that conversation with them, and if they decide that they don't even want to be part of the process, then that's totally up to them. But as of right now, 2 of the 3 have agreed and 1 is not.
Yeah, and just to kind of put it in, I don't want to add this onto the discussion, but, just like what Chief was saying about the chain of custody and everything else, when I did my tour, I think only one of the towing companies could actually maintain the chain of custody today, as we were looking at. I don't know if you agree with that, Councilmember Pats, but the other 2 didn't have that plan in place. So I just want to add that too, because that has to come in consideration on whoever we approve, whether it be all 3, 2, or 1, you have to look at each factor of which each of these companies is gonna provide to us, and that's an important component.
Well, and that's what the main reason is for having the towing companies,
Yeah.
is because of the police department.
Absolutely.